My mom keeps lying about WHO my father truly is. This is a very emotionally draining subject, but I need to vent, and get advice from outsiders. I 22 have a very complicated and messy relationship with my mother, 54. Growing up, I believed my father was a military man from America. We do not live in America. We had visited him when I was a toddler and had planned to move to the US to live with him. Then, according to my mother, she and he fought and refused to speak to me or her again. I went on to believe that he had abandoned me and that my mother had done everything she could to get us into contact again. She spent the next 14 years saying how he had refused to sign my birth certificate, that he had been emailed our location and how to contact us every time we moved, and that she didn't understand why he didn't want me anymore. She had also told me he had no social media and that she had tried looking but found nothing. As the title suggests, she had lied about everything. When I was around 15 or 16, I decided to look for him myself as I had always felt something was off and wanted to know what happened. It took less than 5 minutes to find him on Facebook. I was shocked, and when I saw him with his children at Disney World I was devastated. Alex looked so normal and happy and I couldn't wrap my head around why he could be so seemingly good to his other children and not me. So I decided I wouldn't message him before trying to hear it from my mother again. I thought she was lying to protect me and maybe she was trying not to hurt me and Alex was not the man I thought he was. After having a very intense yelling match, she finally tells me the truth. Alex isn't my father. She then explained that I was conceived on a one-night stand and that she knew nothing but his first name. I was then sat down by her and her best friend and told to get over it as she was trying to protect me and give me a nicer version of my father. I was also told not to tell my aunt as my mother was embarrassed I wasn't allowed to talk about it for the next few years. If I did, or someone else brought it up, my mother would become defensive and we would fight until I decided to drop it. I felt so alone and isolated. I was also made to feel guilty about how I found out and that I had ruined her plan of sitting me down and explaining it all to me. It took a toll on my mental health tremendously, and as much as I wanted to believe her, I just couldn't. But I also had nowhere else to live and knew keeping the peace and trying to drop it was better. I tried. I did, but then I downloaded TikTok and found out about home DNA tests. Last year I saw a TikTok of a girl from my country finding her brother by doing a DNA test and I decided to do one. But I could only do it this year due to life getting in the way. To my surprise, my mother was very encouraging and even offered to pay for it as my birthday present. I couldn't believe it. It was like a switch had been flipped and then suddenly I could talk about it and ask questions. She told me everything, the little she knew about him, and seemed excited about me finding him. I took her up on her offer and 2 weeks later spat into a tube and sent it off. I then spent 2 months daily checking for updates, looking up other people's stories, and imagining how we would officially meet. It's unrealistic, I know, but I honestly wanted to believe that all the emotional damage would be fixed just by meeting him and that I could move on with my life as an adult with 2 parents. It was a euphoric feeling seeing that little tracker move up little by little each week until finally, the matches were in. All my matches were of second cousins and all their information was private, so I couldn't do anything besides message them and pray that they respond. Luckily, the people I have spoken to this far have been amicable, but also very confused. None of them know what I'm talking about and have no link to a man named Max, the name she gave me of my father. I want to assume that it's just because it's a big family or maybe he had lied about his name to her, but considering how my mother is acting now, I'm not sure. It's like we're back to square one. She has gone from being very open and compassionate to defensive and annoyed. Every time I tell her one of my cousins messages me back, she gets nervous and snippy. She's also changing her story in small ways that feel suspicious. For example, when asked about his name, she used to be adamant that it was Max and that she knew he wasn't lying as his friend was dating hers and that they also called him Max. Now she says that she isn't sure that no one else called him Max near her and that it's possible he lied. She also keeps changing from I could pick him out of a lineup if I saw him to no I don't remember what he looks like. It happened so long ago. I honestly don't know how to feel. I want to believe her, but I just can't. There's something wrong and I know she's keeping something from me. I think she believes / hopes that maybe I wouldn't connect with anyone, but I don't know. I honestly don't know how I would be able to forgive her and know that it would destroy what's left of our relationship. If she's lying. I love her, but I cannot understand how she believed. Making me believe my father had chosen to abandon me was a better reality than the truth. Something's wrong and I don't know what to do.